Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Santa Fe Rail Guy. It's been a while since I've done a video, so I thought we would do just a short scenario run here in Train Simulator 2020, also known as Railworks. Yeah, so let's get going. So we have to, if we check our data here, we have to go from Hobart Yard, which is where we are, to the Fullerton Main, which is right down here. And as you can see, it's not too long of a trip. Not too long at all. And this is not a career scenario. This is full-on, just standard drive. So let's go ahead and do it. So we'll release the brakes. We'll notch up. Beautiful. Now you may notice this is running at 30 frames a second. My computer cannot handle anything higher than that for this particular game or for Trains. In fact, I would say Trains, A New Era, runs worse than... Oh look, we got a train on the other side. Nice. So yeah, I would say Trains runs worse than Train Simulator 2020. Trains A New Era in particular. So we got a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. I'll just keep watching the throttle here. Here, I'll show you the locomotive. SD75M, Santa Fe. Very nice. Oh, forgot to put my lights on. So, not bad at all. And we got an intermodal train behind us. And on the end, got ourselves an SD45-2, I believe, as a pusher. Although I'm not entirely sure why. I guess the author just wanted to do that. But we've got more than enough horsepower. I'm going to notch up a little more. And go back to the cab view. This is my favorite just because it's more realistic. $12 miles an hour. And you'll see the game will lag a little bit, and that's because for whatever reason the Pacific Surfliner map just takes forever for stuff to load in. I think because it's very dense. But hey, it is what it is. Oh, went a little above. Darn it, I was hoping I wouldn't get a speeding penalty in this. Looks like we're not really slowing down. Oh, we're on a -2% grade, that's why. Don't even really need to use the brakes, just let the locomotive do the work. Or rather, let the train do the work, slowing itself down. Let's see, how are our signals looking? We've got a red over green. A red over red. But I think we're good to go. I think that just means slow approach. I'm still learning my signals, so you'll have to forgive me if I got that wrong. So I hope everybody's doing good during this uncertain time. It's currently April 3rd, 2020. And we are in the midst of a pandemic, which I won't get into too many details about what it is, but if you're watching during this time period, you probably already know. And It's pretty much shut everything down in my area and in most areas across the country. So it's a big adjustment for people. And economically, it's very, very uncertain. So everybody's kind of keeping their eyes open. You know, that's how it goes. Here's some of the control panels over here if I wanted to just operate this way. That would be the most realistic way to go, but the least convenient. So notch up a little bit. For some reason, you have to really hold in the button to notch it up. Alright, now we got 20 miles an hour, so we've got some room to breathe. This is going to be a very slow, fast route. And like I said, it's not very long because we're going to get stopped at Fullerton, which is a passenger station. Just notch down while we get closer to 20 here. Here we have a nice little intermodal facility. And for those who are unfamiliar with what an intermodal facility is, basically it's, you see our load here, and I'll go over to the cars. These cars right here, these are called double stacks. The car itself is called a well car. But the load, the two containers here, they're called stacks. Or just containers. But when they're stacked together, they're usually considered double stacks. And the train type as a whole is considered an intermodal if it's just this load. And what an intermodal facility is basically it loads these containers onto the wells. That's how they get loaded. So sometimes you'll see just one container, sometimes you'll see two. You never really see more than two because that'd be just too high. In fact, when they introduced double stacks, a lot of railroads across the country had to basically make their bridges bigger and some of their track sections wider so they could accommodate for these signal towers and all that. I would imagine the same process. I can't remember if these came before or after Autorex. I think they came after. Oh yeah, they definitely did, because there were auto carriers before this. But yeah, that's what we're pulling today, and that's the type of facility that they're loaded on. But we're already loaded, so we don't have to worry about that. Intermodals are probably some of the most common long-distance freight trains you'll see in North America. So, alright, now we got the 30, so notch it up to about 2. We're going to probably be behind schedule, but in a scenario like this, you're not really timed, so it doesn't matter. But if I was on a timetable, I'd be late. Not a whole lot of traffic. We saw 2 other freights from Santa Fe. You'll have to forgive that stuttering. That's just a part of the game. It's not my computer. Yeah. So yeah, everything is in chaos, which if you're watching this during this time, you already know. But the railroads are still going. I'm gonna put my bell on while I go through the passenger section here, just to let them know there is a train approaching. Oh, now we're up to 55. I can really hit it now. However, I don't think I'll get up to 55 just because I know there's going to be sections on this track where it's going to slow back down to 30 and potentially 20 in some areas. I have done this scenario before, so I like that. Hashtag we are Railfans. That's neat. So the Santa Fe, as it was formerly known, the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad, is no more. It no longer exists as the Santa Fe. It now exists as the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, or that's actually not true either. They renamed it again to just BNSF, which was the abbreviation for Burlington Northern Santa Fe. So in 1996, the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad merged with the Burlington Northern Railway to form the BNSF. And it was a sad day in many rail fans' eyes because the two railroads separate were pretty cool to watch, but business is business. Railroads are still a business. They gotta do what's best for their bottom line. And for the Santa Fe, that was merging with another railroad to create a much larger railroad. In fact, I believe it's the second largest railroad in the United States. It's just a shame to see a railroad that had such rich history just lose its identity. That's the part that frustrates me. But it is my favorite railroad of all time, hence the name Santa Fe Rail Guy. Well, I didn't mean to notch up, I wanted to notch down. See, this is what I mean. You can see in the bottom here, you've got your speed limits. And it drops down to 50. But it'll go back up to 55, and just before you have time to stretch your legs, it'll go back up to 30. So that's always fun. So I'm just going to let the train coast here. Until we get up to that section where it says 50 again. And the only reason it slows down, I believe, is for some of the curves coming up. Last thing you want is to roll an intermodal train over a curve. Send crates flying everywhere. I've seen wrecks like that. That's awful. You always want to follow the speed limits, whether you're in a train or a car, but especially in a train. Because not doing so can be far more devastating. Alright, I'm going to apply a little brake here. Just so we can get down to 30. A lot of stuttering on this. I'm still getting hit with speeding. And this is a quiet zone, so I cannot use my horn. Alright, gonna go ahead and release there. If this was a career scenario, I would have lost a ton of points, which is frustrating, but what are you gonna do? But once I get up to the 50 mark, I'll notch it. Well, no, I guess I won't, because it's going to be slow, fast again. So I'll just stay at around 29:30. Which is frustrating, but whatever. We'll get there when we get there. I'm actually going to, I'm going to cut away. And I will see you guys next time, or not next time, but in the next half of this video. Once we're closer to the station. I'll wait here till this train passes so we can see what it is. Oh, it's another intermodal, only it's piggybacks. Piggybacks, as the name implies, trailers loaded on flatbeds. Now think of your average truck's pulling power, and think of these trailers loaded, and the horsepower it takes to pull all of them on these flatbeds. Crazy, right? Yeah. Alright guys, I'll cut away and see you in just a few minutes. Okay, and we're back, folks. So we just got a call that we're going to be held at Fullerton for the northbound Amtrak San Diego. So much for being the flagship of the railroad. So our conductor is basically letting us know that we can't go as far as we would like to. And we have to be held up for an Amtrak, which we will never see in this video. But, oh well. You do what you gotta do, kids. You do what you gotta do. So, you may not have noticed it there, but that speed marker sign, passenger trains have a higher speed limit than freight trains do. That's obviously for safety reasons, because most passenger trains are pretty short and on a much stricter timetable than a freight. So they're a little bit more lenient with their speed limits. You saw the last couple clips I had. I did some pass-by clips, and I did one with the train at full throttle. It's probably the only section I'll get to put her up at full throttle. I don't know how my brakes ended up on. The train didn't go into emergency. Now, you know what? Screw it. I'll just put it in full throttle right now so we can get up to 50. This is very accurate to how an EMD sounds, especially at full throttle. That loud humming. So we can crank her up to 55. And I'm not going to leave it on full throttle for very long, just because at those full 900 RPMs, I mean, you can see she's already moving. And I don't want to get caught speeding again. It's already been enough times. And I know somewhere around here it's going to drop significantly. So I want to be ready for that too. So once we hit about 54, I'm going to start dropping the throttle. Oh, went over 54. That was my bad. But you see what I mean? It happens so quickly. You pick up speed so fast because these locomotives are so powerful. And intermodal loads really aren't that heavy, at least considered or compared to other loads like coal. I think it depends on what they're loaded with. Again, just let the train coast and just slowly reduce its speed. You can hear a lot of the generic radio chatter in the background. I apologize for that. I wish there was a way to turn it off, but it's kind of a permanent feature. Just to add to the realism, but you hear the same stuff over and over and over. And dried river there. Lots of dried rivers. So I guess we can look down here at the controls, and I can explain what different things are, even though you can't see the cursor. You can see there's the dynamic brake. Zoom in on that. We have the throttle, which is set at idle right now. I put it down to idle. There's the horn, which is up here, this lever here. Very cool. And then we've got our radio equipment, which we will not use, and whoop, that's too far down. There's the sander, which we will use if it was in wet or snowy conditions and the wheels were slipping, we would use this, or if we were on a steep grade, but we won't be. Here's the headlight switches. And right here we have the reverser, which is set in forward position. And you want to leave it there while you're going, unless you're planning on backing up at some point. You have our cab lights. Number lights. Instrument lights. Lights those up right there. Very nice. And our wipers, which we will not be using. And that's about it. A lot of the other stuff is purely for decoration and isn't used. So, yeah. And I'm sure some of you are like, why were you looking down there? You couldn't see what was in front of you. Ordinarily, look, if this was a real scenario, yeah, don't do that. But I know this scenario, I know there are no other trains on the line, and I'm right where I need to be, and I can see everything, with the bottom toolbar. So there you go. If this was real life, don't ever do that. If you're trained to be an engineer, that's a good way to get fired. Yeah. Alright, so after we hit this next point in 2.35 miles, then we'll be closer to our stop, and they'll want us to slow down significantly for that. And there's more stuttering. I wish this map was a little bit more stable, because it is a great map and I love doing the Amtrak trains on it. But it is what it is. Is this another dried riverbed? No, it's a road. Turn that off. Past the platform. Notching up just a little. Pick up a little bit of speed here. And the reason it sounds like a jet is because really how a diesel locomotive works, for those who don't know, and again I apologize to the rail fans who are familiar with all this, but I'm going over this for the people who may not know. This is a diesel electric locomotive, and what that means is the diesel motor actually doesn't turn the wheels. It actually provides power to the generator, and the generator is what turns the wheels. So when you're applying power to the generator. So that's how that works. It's not like driving a car. There's no steering wheel. Funny thing, I was browsing the App Store to see what they had for train sim games, and I found a game where, I kid you not, the locomotive cab had a steering wheel in it. I didn't even have words for it. I still don't. A steering wheel means nothing. At least on a train. There is really no use for it. Alright, so we have a slow approach, or approach medium. Still not sure which. One of these days I'll have my signals down, and then when I do a video you guys will have the correct information, but for now I don't, and I'm sorry. Oh, that's why they want us to slow down. We're gonna go into track, I think this is track 3. No, this is track 2. But yeah, you definitely don't want to hit those going 70 miles an hour. Those interchanges. going to keep it slow here because we're very, very close to our destination. Even though it says we can go up to 55, that's not going to last very long at all. Alright, so here you'll see, here's the speed limit signs. The top P, 79 for passenger, F for freight, 55. So, that's pretty cool. Notch up just a little bit. I'm going to have to focus on braking more here. Oh, more stuttering, gotta love it. Load, map, load. And I think that's it up here. .69 miles, it's very close. Yep, there it is on the thing there, so I gotta slow down. This is a fun trip. Thank you for taking it with me. Sorry if it didn't seem very exciting, but I figured this was a good test scenario to do a video. I wasn't sure technically if I'd be able to record, but it's looking like I'll be okay. If the game would stop stuttering, that'd be wonderful, but can't have everything. But yeah, thanks for taking this trip with me. It's been a lot of fun. Maybe next time we'll do a longer Santa Fe journey. Apply some brake. And I think that's it. And here we are. Awesome. So thank you very much for taking this journey with me. It's been fun. Oh, palm tree. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next journey. I don't know why I stuttered there, but whatever. Oh, look, our door's open. Little. It was a good run, engineer. Let's grab a coffee from the station cafe. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. This has been Santa Fe Rail Guy. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.